This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
He was a giant, and he was a cowboy. Now these two former rivals have joined forces to bring you the most insightful, perceptive, and controversial sports talk podcast in America. Former Dallas Cowboys defensive end Jim Jeffcoat locks horns with former New York Giants wide receiver Byron Williams. And now, here's Byron Williams and Jim Jeffcoat.
Good evening, Byron.
Good evening. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good. Hey, real quick before we start, I want to get a shout out to one of my real good friends, Juanita Scott. She's out in California. She's a wonderful lady. I've known her since I've been 21 years old, and she listens to our show every week, and I wanted to give her a shout out. And the next thing I want to, a good friend of mine passed away last night, Don Cochran. He was a trainer, a longtime trainer for the Cowboys, and had a lot of respect for him. He was one of my favorite people. So I want to hope his family's and rest in peace, Cocky. I mean, he was a tremendous guy, and he just passed away.
Wow, I hate to hear that. Yeah, we give our condolences, and those trainers are somebody special. When you go in the training room and they put ice on you, they wrap your ankle and tape you up, and it's just a special bond, special relationship, special conversations, and just that's something that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah, and we were together for many years.
Yeah,
I had a lot of utmost respect for him, and just rest in peace, Cocky. You're a good man. Was a great man. So I want to say that. Now on to our football news. There's Jamar. I mean, is it Jamar or Damar Hamlin?
Yeah.
Damar Hamlin has just put out a note 9 days after suffering cardiac arrest. He's been discharged from the Buffalo General Medical Center.
Man, praise the Lord. Thank you. That's awesome. And I know he was texting the day of the game, and I mean he was making comments, and they just had up the 3 and they put the hearts up. Yeah, it was just it was an awakening for the whole NFL across the board. For everybody.
It was interesting. They got on Tim Tebow for kneeling and praying, and everybody else, when that happened, Damar Hamlin, everybody else was there kneeling and praying because that's a traumatic situation. It wasn't just players on the team or either team. It was all around the league, former players.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a traumatic situation. I'm just glad that he had the opportunity. He survived, and he's gone home. Doesn't look like there's any brain damage or anything. So
yeah, that's amazing.
You guys did a good job, the NFLPA, because you made sure he got all of his salary.
Yeah. We the good thing about this is a great time to get things right, to revise things, and the medical team was there. I mean, just from top to bottom, everybody's trying to do the right thing and make sure that nothing being left out that need to be included. And the main thing too is that players' life is more important than anything else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because actually this was his second year, if I'm correct, and he wasn't even vested yet.
Yeah.
They made sure that he get his, and then obviously what happened with his toy drive, he had over $10 million in that. $10 million. So
just celebration for across the country, all the people that
on both sides, because they knew that this was a life-changing event.
Yeah.
They said he could play again.
Wow.
So we can play again, but
I know I just got an email today. We're gonna be celebrating the executive leadership over in Hawaii the first week of March. So we're gonna be going over there to get to talk about some things, and it's gonna be the NFLPA is we trying to get it right for all the players, former players and current players.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Now, before we talk about things that are going on, other things, the Cardinals got permission to speak to Sean Payton. As of now, every team that has an opening except for Indianapolis has requested to speak to him. Obviously, Carolina, the Cardinals. Then you have
the
Denver.
Texans, the Texans and the Broncos. Yeah,
required. They asked to speak to him, and the ironic thing about it, they can't speak to him till January 17th.
Oh, January 17th, but they also got to get permission from New Orleans Saints, right?
Yes, they do have to. They have to file a request with them.
Why January 17th? Did they say?
No, they didn't say why, but it's January 17th.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they can't. But what bothers me, they're interviewing people. Now the Texans are interesting. They were asked to interview people, but a lot of people are not in a hurry to interview for the Texans because the last two coaches have been one and done.
One and done, and then I mean the owner, and just think the players that they have left there, from J.J. Watts to DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun, all these guys, and the things that have happened with the Texans hadn't been favorable, hadn't been good. So
exactly, and it's interesting now because of the Rooney rule, where you have to interview a minority. Most of the only minority I hear more, and I know there are other ones, but Jim Caldwell. And Jim Caldwell's 67 years old.
Yeah, I saw his name being on that Panther list out there in Carolina.
Also, he went to not Indianapolis, but he went to Denver. He was in Indianapolis.
Yeah, sure.
He did. But,
did a good job. He did a good job.
Yeah, he did a heck of a job.
He had a winning record.
Yeah.
When he left. Yeah.
There's our guy. No, he won't be out. Jason, he's 12-5. How do you fire a 12-5 coach? He won't be out. But we're going to talk about that, Jason. Stay in here.
I think Mike McCarthy deserve a chance. I really don't think they'll lose to the Bucs though. Really, in my opinion.
Here's the thing.
They never beat. You know what? Tom Brady is 7-0 against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I know, but he's never beat them in the playoffs because they never played in the playoffs.
It's a new day. It's a new day.
But here's the problem: the Cowboys are 1-3 on natural grass. They lost obviously last week to the Commanders. They lost to Green Bay, and they lost to Jacksonville. And then the only team they beat on natural grass is the Tennessee Titans. And that kind of gives you a concern. And Jason Garrett, they got on Jason Garrett for saying that. He says, and I asked him, I texted him and asked him about that. He said they don't, what he sees is lack of explosiveness
on the grass.
On the grass.
Well, I saw a little clip of the Cowboys practice. They out there practicing on natural grass today.
It better be, but I don't know if you can do it in a couple of days because it's different. It's different because your body, as you know, you got to get adjusted to. You just can't go out there. You got to be pushing, grunting, and things. It's got to be a full practice, a full padded practice.
And that soil in Florida is a little different. You know, you see a lot of grass. Stains on so when you go and get tackled, it's a little bit, their footing is different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Obviously in college I played on grass, and we only had in the Pac-12, the only artificial turf we played on was Washington State, Oregon, and Washington. Other than that, it was all grass.
Oh, grass. Yeah.
So until I got to the NFL, I didn't play on a lot of artificial turf.
And plus, they kind of save your body too, I think.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. So
well,
there's
NFLPA. We was on a meeting this year, and the majority of the players prefer grass, and they identified 7 stadiums that was unsafe this year, and I know for sure three of the teams have already responded to trying to change out their systems.
Yeah.
It won't be natural grass. It might be it'll be a turf system. It'll be some type of turf system.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the technology today, they couldn't make grass fields with the technology. They do it in Arizona. They do it in LA.
Well, they do it in Las
story.
Vegas too, because
Yeah.
those fields, LA and Phoenix fields, are on that track, on the grass tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could do it anywhere. You could do it in Dallas. It shouldn't be an issue to have that done. So,
well, it'll be by the probably over $250,000 per field per game of grass just to maintain it, because you have to grow it.
I think they're going
to trees.
Yeah, but the argument they're going to say is they have other events there, but they can take it out and hold it and keep it, doing the things to it. But they're going to say, well, we can't run other events there. But I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree too. I think
because in the World Cup, I don't know if they're going to want to play on field turf.
They can play on FIFA approved fields. They have to be certified fields that they play on when they're going to bring that World Cup here.
Exactly. So I don't know if that's true, but that's something to look at. So that answers your question, Jason. No, they will not fire Mike McCartney. He won 12 games 2 years. And the last time they did that was 93. I think it was 95 that they won 12.
Jerry Jones said that that's not a concern of him right now. He more focused on this game, and he ain't trying to think about firing Mike. That's what he said.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, there's got a question for you. Pro Football Talk, which is on the internet, said the comeback player of the year is Christian McCaffrey, and I have an issue with that. I think there was.
What you have an issue with? I think for based off of injuries and based off the 10 touchdowns and what he have came in done for the 49ers. What I think he's one of the top candidates.
He is a top candidate, but is he the guy? If I was going to say Saquon Barkley was injured and he came back and had a super year.
Absolutely.
So Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, for the most part, he's still. Everybody thought he was going to get it, and he didn't play like he did at the beginning of the year, but he was still an asset to the Tennessee Titans. Brian Robinson for the Commanders, he was shot in a carjacking, and he came back and played the whole year after that injury. And then you got to see Geno Smith, who I would think would be the closest odds-on favorite to win it, because he hadn't started since 2014.
But how could he be comeback when he wasn't hurt last year?
That's true. That's
the only thing about Geno. But he for as one of the most impactful seasons that a player had, I would definitely say Geno Smith did that and led his team and been very consistent in pinpointing the ball and leading the team, making the right decisions. And he is a turning point. They don't even miss Russell Wilson in Seattle. That's true.
Who's it? I was reading the articles today before we obviously talk about in the show. When you speak about Russell Wilson, Sean Payton said something interesting. He's a fan of Kyler Murray. And he didn't ever say anything positive about Russell Wilson, which I thought was interesting, because Kyler Murray is really not the style of Payton. Now, Kyler Murray does have a lot of talent, and I'm not questioning that. And I think it's a power play, because if Sean goes to Arizona, he can basically put in his system. He can hire the GM, and he can put in everything that he wants and build it from there, as opposed to going to Denver, who already has George Patton as the GM, and he has to deal with him.
Well, one of the things I think Sean Payton gonna make a decision on, that he's gonna have a lot of authority.
That's what I'm saying.
Decision making, and the way things are gonna get done in that organization. So, whichever team that he signed with, you believe me, it's gonna be Sean Payton way.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But here's the problem: if you go either place, then you got to deal with quarterbacks that have huge contracts.
Yeah, 40-something, 46 million. Russell Wilson, $49 million. Kyler Murray, $46 million this past year.
And then you said 2 more didn't make it to the playoffs.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, $50 million. Russell Wilson, $49 million. Deshaun Watson, $46 million. And Kyler Murray, $46 million. Those are the top 4 quarterbacks this year in salaries that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So that's the issues you run in because they really seriously have a lot of power. If you remember what the owner, Michael Bidwell of the Cardinals, said that Kyler will have a voice in the quarterback that they pick. I mean, excuse me, the coach they pick, the head coach.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that when you give your quarterback that kind of power?
Well, I think you made a commitment to that quarterback, so I guess you gonna want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And the last 2 years with the Arizona Cardinals, they've been really close to getting to the next tier. They just had some injuries. Deshaun Hopkins didn't play the first game this year. Now you got J.J. Watts, and they had some good defensive players. A couple of them had to leave this year, but I'm thinking when you start getting players involved in your making decisions and selections and kind of the way you want your team to go, I think why you need a general manager. I just think too, you putting too much responsibility on players. That's why players need to stay focused on what their job are on the football field.
That's probably the point I'm getting. Players play, coaches.
Yeah. At the end of the game is simple. The rules are simple. Players have to play.
That's right. You
can't manage in the administrative part. Can't manage who they try to pick and who they signing. That's just something. That's just you have special people for that.
Yeah, and what worries me about that way of doing things is if you're picking in the draft and you're between a wide receiver who might not be as good as that DB over there.
Right.
And Kyler Murray says, well, I want that wide receiver. But he said, we got him rated as a low draft pick. Well, I want him instead of that receiver a DB that's rated as a top 5 pick. That's the issues you run into.
That's the issue you run into every year. You can see it happening now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the wide receiver Bird from Arkansas is not as good as Brown that they traded from Titans. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that ain't no way he can come in and do what Brown did the last 2 or 3 years with Tennessee Titans.
I agree.
They traded him to the Eagles. The Eagles team immediately got so much better.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
That's just an example. That's an example.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. You got to be careful about that. I don't think you give a player that much power.
No, you really can't.
Especially when you haven't won. If I could see if you won like Tom Brady and you won so many Super Bowls, but Kyler Murray hasn't won. And that's the reality of it. I mean, he started off good last year, but this year they were the dumps. That's be honest with you.
And that's the one thing I can say about Tom Brady. He probably just told his team, let's just get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now he got to the playoffs. Now he knows exactly how to maybe massage the guys and make sure that we're all on the same page, because now it's just a one game and done.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. So true. Speaking of that, we can start talking about a little bit about the games.
Let me ask you about this. What do you think the power rating was this week going into the playoff? What do you think the power rating? What team?
Number one would probably be either Kansas City or Buffalo.
No.
Philadelphia?
No.
Tampa Bay?
No.
Giants?
They got the 49ers. The most. 49ers. They got the 49ers. They got the Bills. It's kind of like a tie between Kansas City and the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Eagles 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Cowboys 6th. And, kind of the Vikings, the Giants, and Chargers, and the Jaguars. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack. He is a Pro Bowl player. He made the Pro Bowl this year. Yeah, I know Jack has a issue.
Get him straight, Jack. Get him straight because
Jack has an
he's talking
issue.
about Geno Smith. Geno Smith was a former Jet, and he didn't do
And that's
nothing.
why he has an issue with him. He's one of the former Jets. They got a band going. Zach Wilson is going to be a bass player in that band. So
I tell you what, Jack done learned a lot about football. That's good.
should the Bears draft Bryce Young? No. I think Bryce.
I would continue to build my team around Justin Fields, in my opinion.
Yep. And another thing is they can get Will Anderson, and I think Will Anderson will be more beneficial to him than having Bryce Young, because they'll be in the same boat they're in now, or find out who the number one receiver is. Because I'm not a Claypool. I think Chase Claypool is a fraud.
Just think about this too. How many quarterbacks out of college come in and make an instant big impact in the National Football League?
That is true too.
Not too many. Now Trevor Lawrence, he's getting it now, but it took a little while because he didn't have.
There were questions about him.
Yeah, but he didn't have the support they needed, and still he was a little immature. I still say that guys have to have 2 to 3 years before they really get the chemistry down and everything else.
And it was such a bad situation in Jacksonville. Peterson has straightened it out, but Urban Myers wasn't ready for the NFL.
No, he was just there. He didn't have a clue what's going on. He was like a deer in the headlight.
Yep. Should the Bears draft Bryce Young? No. There's no way you do that. You can get Will Anderson. That's who you're going to take.
That's who I would get.
Or I would look at the defensive lineman from Georgia, the big guy. I think is Jalen Carter is his name, and he's a big old joker. But I'm not going to trade Justin Fields because I think you can build around Justin Fields. And
It's not as good as mine. I can tell you that, Jack. It's not as good as mine.
Go to sleep, Jack.
I would play Monday, Jack. I tagged a couple 300 drives out there, 300 yards. I don't think Jim want to mess with me.
I need to start practicing, getting ready for golf season.
Put your money on me.
Oh, here's Jason. We got all these guys. Jason's in there.
Yeah. Georgia's running up the clock. You're right, absolutely.
65-7. Woo! Hunker down, Bulldogs. Hunker down. Wow.
But they made a point. Back to back, and they didn't leave nothing. They didn't leave no explanations hanging. They said, "Hey, we are the number one team in the nation."
And to imagine that if the guy doesn't miss the field goal, they're watching at home. Think about that. Ohio State.
Yeah. Ohio State would have been national champion.
Yep. It could have been. Maybe TCU would have matched up better against Ohio State.
They might have got 20 points.
Ooh, it was tough. I commend.
And I got a lot of friends that play football at TCU, and I shot them a picture of a dead frog. And I said, and I told them, I said, man, this is what the dog did to the frog. And man, they got mad at me, man. Right now I don't have no friends from TCU, so they mad.
But Dirk Nowitzki, the great Mavericks small guard, he has a true horned frog as a pet.
Wow.
He had it, and he had brought it with him to the game. It didn't help the goods. Nothing could have helped him.
Well, and they showed a clip of the Bulldog. The Bulldog stayed at home. They didn't fly. They didn't want to fly into.
He's 9 years old.
And so they had one in the cage behind him, and the other one looking at the TV. So they were ready to go. They were ready to go.
Yeah. Now Jack is going to be saying, he used to say that Alabama, those guys could beat the lower end of the NFL. And now he's going to say Georgia could do that. They wouldn't beat them, Jack. I'm just telling you.
Hey, Jack, and another thing too, Jack, I was right. The Cowboys lost. So I remember I picked
Oh,
I picked the Redskins. I picked the Commandos.
yeah. I can't argue. They lost, and it didn't look good. It's got me a little nervous this week. But let's talk about a little bit about the games.
Okay.
First one is going to be on Saturday, and it's Seattle at San Francisco.
Seattle hadn't been close to the 49ers the two games that they played them. They dominated. The 49ers dominated them. I think they got the number. I think it's just going to be a matter of time. They just going to – I think that game should be 32, 34 to 10, something like that.
Wow.
That's what I think.
The last couple of weeks, San Francisco hasn't looked like world beaters. And that's not against Brock Purdy or anything. He has, but if you notice that, because who did they play before?
Did they play the Rams or somebody?
The Raiders, wasn't it? And the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders.
Jared Stidham's first game.
Yeah, that's right. They played the Raiders.
Success on them. So I don't know. I think this.
Brock Purdy have a 119 pass rating, so it's really good.
I think they'll win San Francisco, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's closer than people anticipated. Nothing, because it's playoff time, and playoffs are a little different. There's not that much difference between teams. And you're right, San Francisco's had quite a bit of success against Seattle. But
one of the things that the experts did say this week, it's gonna be a surprise team, maybe 2 or 3 surprise teams that people think gonna go the other way and they gonna go opposite what majority think. So you never know. And once the playoff hit, playoff hits.
You never know.
What if Purdy throw a couple of interceptions?
That's true.
The Seattle defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty good. And what if the big guy, the receiver they have, if he goes off? Because Tyler Lockett will be a little bit better this week.
Yeah.
So
you're right. So
I think they can do it. And they got a running game. Seattle has a running game.
Walker had a good year.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker had a good year. He might be up for offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, his name is up there.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it'll be a 35-10.
And
this is going to be 35-10.
Well, it's going to be
Make up your mind.
This is their third time playing, so I just think the 49ers got their number, so I don't see them doing too much.
Yeah.
And then they was at home on their knees, and they better thank Detroit. They should have sent Detroit players, all of them, should send them all a gift for beating the Packers and stuff.
But that sets well for Dan Campbell in the future, too.
Well, another thing, too, people got to realize when just like the Washington team beat one, and the Giants were waiting to go to the playoff last year's wild card, and they let the Eagles just the Washington didn't help them, the Giants, and so those division games like that, when they play division games, they play division games.
That's right, and that's true. Yeah, we found out the hard way this week, but no, but Los Angeles.
I think Dallas wanted to play Tampa in the playoffs.
You think so?
I do. I think so.
I was hoping not. We'll talk about that a little later. Los Angeles Chargers against Jacksonville at Jacksonville.
Well,
Justin Herbert's first time in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I picked the Chargers from the get-go. I said that this team is they gonna. I think they got William healthy. They got their receivers. I mean, I just think the Chargers. I like the Chargers, and their defense is warming up. And so I think I'm picking. I take my hat and congratulations to the Jaguars for what they did and how they did it. These last 8 games. But I'm taking the Chargers.
Did you know that Jacksonville beat them pretty good during the season? It was
but look how many people they had injured. This is a whole new team. Whole new team.
They beat the Chargers at let me look real quick. 38-10 at SoFi Stadium.
That's why I'm taking the Chargers.
I'm going with I'm gonna stay with Jacksonville.
Okay. B-Dub. JJ.
Okay.
The Chargers are they're a whole new team.
Yeah, but Jacksonville's been playing really well.
Justin Herbert, who the better quarterback?
Yeah.
Who the better quarterback? Huh?
Yeah. Sunshine's the better quarterback.
Who?
Trevor Lawrence. Sunshine. Remember the Titans? No, Marshall. We are Marshall. Sunshine.
I'm going with the Jaguars. I'm going to say Chargers because
oh yeah, I know you said it right. You're going with the Jaguars too.
I'm going with the Chargers. That's the team I picked at the beginning of the year to be the surprise team.
Well, they ain't gonna surprise this week. I'm going with Jacksonville. So I got San Francisco and Jacksonville so far.
Oh yes, I got San Francisco too now.
Yeah, Jason loved how the Lions got the Seahawks in. Yeah, they got them in. They got them in, Jason. Okay, Miami at Buffalo.
Man, Josh Allen gonna light them up. I'm going to go Buffalo.
There's another one. Miami played them tough last time. Miami played them tough.
I'm going with Buffalo.
I'm going with Buffalo. You know I'm going rough buff.
So Miami didn't they? Did you see them play the Jets last week?
Yeah.
They ain't got no quarterback.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the Cheetah?
The Cheetah took a day off. No, I don't think the quarterback. They had a quarterback one.
But here's the thing: that's interesting is that Miami's receivers and Waddle and obviously Hill.
They had a record year.
They had a record year. Third most yardage for dual of receivers, and it was over 3,000 yards.
Yeah, they had a good year.
So
and then had a couple of quarterback problems. Quarterback.
Yeah. So that's a good question. That you said, would you bring Tua back, or would you start looking at a new quarterback?
I started looking at a new quarterback because those concussions, man. I mean, one more hit, who knows?
Yeah, and they're saying that there's a point where they're saying that the head coach's job is in jeopardy, which I think is crazy.
Why he did a good job. I mean,
yeah, he did with what he had.
But what happened? They lost those games in a row at the end of the season. The last 5 or 6 games, they didn't do that well.
Yeah,
because of injuries, though.
But that was the injuries at the quarterback position. That's why I asked you.
Yeah,
because this is not Tua had injury issues. It wasn't concussions.
You got to get a quarterback. You got to get. You know, when we talked about early in the year, your second string quarterback got to be just as good as your first string.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I'm going to go with Buffalo on that, obviously.
Yeah, Buffalo. Buffalo just – I'm putting Buffalo in the AFC Championship game.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have to play wouldn't they have to play Cincinnati?
I don't care. They got to go to Buffalo.
Yeah. New York? Oh, what we talking about? We got to talk about the big game. New York at Minnesota. They said it was New York. One of their players said it wasn't that loud in the Vikings stadium. Did you hear that, Jason? Jason sent me that.
Jason, you ain't screaming loud enough.
Jason, Jason gonna send me.
What that Viking dude at? He ain't no. What is he around?
Remember that dude? He had that big old beard, and he was fat, and he'd be bringing that thing. Man, I remember that.
Well, another thing too, Kirk Cousins.
But it's not a night game. It's a
Thibodeau gonna be in his face, and he gonna throw interceptions. Kirk Cousins gonna be like, I just can't make the playoffs.
It's an afternoon game.
I don't care if it's a morning. I don't care if it's a morning game. It don't care if it's a noonday game. The afternoon game, it can be a midnight game. The Giants gonna roll up in there, and let me tell you, we're gonna beat the slop out of them.
It was a nice season for you. The Giants.
What I like about Jason? You know what I like about Jason?
What do you like about Jason?
He's a dreamer. He's dreaming. He's dreaming, and he goes like, Byron the right. Curls didn't do nothing, And you know what? Thibodeau gonna have a big game.
And then we got Jack on here. We got somebody from the peanut gallery, and here's Jack.
I can't believe you, Jack. I can't believe you saying that. Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna call Thibodeau personally and tell him to put the boxing gloves on.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have a
day. Give after Jack.
Huh?
I'm gonna give him Jack's address. Thibodeau.
Hey, we have played the Vikings 3 times in the playoffs. We're 2-1 against them in the playoffs. So we're gonna beat them again this week. We're gonna beat them like a drum.
I like your confidence. I really do. But the Vikings are gonna win.
They don't have a defense.
They don't have to have a defense.
Let me tell you something. When you get to the playoffs, you better have a running game. You better have a defense, and your special team better not be looking around.
True, but I'm gonna go. I do like the Giants. What they've done with Dayball, but I think the Vikings should win this game. I think Kirk Cousins is going to exercise his demons, but the problem is next week they're going to put Kirk Cousins in a night game after this, and we'll see the real Kirk Cousins again.
They were saying that there's going to be some surprises this week. This one is going to be one of the surprises. Mark my word.
Keep on working on it, Byron. Keep on working it, because Minnesota's going to win this game.
All right.
This is not going to be the surprise.
I'm going to text your butt, too, during the game.
Oh, yeah. We have our little text named Jack not invited. Jack's not invited me, you, and Max text line. But
Jack, big time.
Yeah.
He's big time.
He ain't got really time for us anyway. So.
Yeah, Jack, come on.
But, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think Minnesota will win this game. But it was close.
I'm glad you are, because I'm going with Tampa Bay, so I'm glad you are.
No, you said, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Baltimore versus Cincinnati.
No Lamar Jackson. The Bengals gonna be. They might go to the championship, but the Bengals are just too solid.
Bengals and Buffalo would play next round, wouldn't they?
Yep.
Everything goes.
Yep.
So the Bengals and Buffalo. Well, it'd be the low, yeah. So whoever wins out of Los Angeles and Jacksonville would play, obviously, Kansas City.
Right.
And then whoever wins out of Baltimore and Cincinnati would play Buffalo or Miami.
Right.
So I'm going with Cincinnati, with Cincinnati, and it's at Cincinnati, or it's got a lot of injury issues. And that's a good question, because Lamar Jackson hasn't played in 5-6 games.
He's out. They ruled him out.
Yeah, he is out. But my question to you is, do you give, and I think Lamar Jackson is a tremendous talent, but do you give him the franchise tag, and do you give him that type of money? They just gave Roquan Smith $100 million.
I would definitely continue to build my team around Lamar Jackson. It's a proven fact that if he's not playing, they're not going to win.
But my argument to that is I agree with you, but you've said this before, and you, with the quarterbacks being so highly paid, you can't get at other positions. You can't get players at other positions. Yeah,
that's so true. I mean, you only can give other players short-term money, and they don't last long. But when you get these quarterbacks, these high contracts, anything over $45 million, it is you hurting your chances of going to the Super Bowl. You're hurting your chances of going to the playoffs.
Yeah. Quick question. I know Kansas City is on a bye this week. Kansas City and Philadelphia are byes.
Right.
What did you think about Kansas City doing the ring around the posy?
I think I didn't too much like that, but I guess that's something to keep them motivated. I don't know
what the heck. I had never seen that. That was crazy, and that wasn't a hole on the touchdown. That was a touchdown.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, I would have that, and if I was a coach, because we played Philadelphia one year, and Buddy Ryan did that at the end of the game. They already won the game, and he wanted Randall Cunningham to fake kneel and throw the bomb. Randall told us that.
I remember that.
Randall told us they were going to do that, and they still completed it. We weren't very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought
sometimes plays like that come back to hunt you.
Yeah. I agree.
The playoffs do separate the men from the boys. Now you're talking about true play. Yeah.
Of course, Jack. I'm 61 years old. Of course I haven't. Oh, would have never? I would have sacked Lamar. Trust me. If I sacked Randall Cunningham, I could have sacked Lamar. Trust me, Jack.
Yeah, I think you had one more sack in you. I think you would have got it.
I would have got him, Jack. I'm Jack.
You might would have hurt him.
Jack. I didn't play flag football. I played tackle.
Hey, Jim, you might would have hurt him because some of these players this day and time ain't tough.
Yeah, because did you see the tackle that he got hurt on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's my point. Most of these guys cannot complete 16, 17, 18 games.
Yeah.
They cannot complete it.
You're
ain't
right.
too many guys completing that.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100% on that. And that kind of type of quarterback, Justin Fields, who I really like, he had the same issue, and he's not going to have a long-term career.
Let me tell you something, Jim. Think back. How many quarterbacks this year got hurt without getting hit? A couple of them.
That's true. Because Kyler Murray, when he blew his knee out.
Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson got hurt. I mean, he went down and nobody touched him.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you got a good point. Yeah. You need to take over Jack's position because you're way smarter than Jack.
No, Jack the man. He's the man.
Jack is gonna give it to me on Sunday.
he tell me about teaching my grandson how to be centers and deep snappers and stuff. So
hey, that's smart. That is smart.
Yeah, he knows stuff though.
Or kickers.
Yeah.
Or kickers, yeah. Punters, really. Because a punter.
But they already got speed. They're gonna be world class athletes, though. I'm sorry. Them boys got the speed like their grandpa.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's your wife's husband's grandpa is fast?
Who?
No, your daughter's. Their fathers, his parents. You said they got world class speed. He must have got it from
world class speed.
They got it from his side.
They got world class speed like they papa. Didn't I send you a clip of 87-yarder?
Yes, you did. And what did I send you back?
Send me that interception for 67 yards.
67 yards. I had a 77-yarder too.
Yeah, I think Matt was like, them boys was okay.
But no, I think that's my biggest concern with Lamar Jackson. I think he's, a rare athlete, but can he sustain for those guys don't last for an extended period of time.
But I think for what he have done for the team and up to this point, go ahead and pay him and just try to get the team ready for to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, you got a lot of parts already in place. Yeah. I think they weren't too far away. They've been winning. They again in the playoffs. I mean, that's hard.
They are.
That speak volume.
Yeah. So, and then also I know this is a little off the subject, but we got a little time. Is that Mike Tomlin is still over 500. He still has never had a losing season.
He almost went to the playoffs, but Miami, they barely beat the Jets.
Yeah.
But yeah, they it's something about your coaching philosophy and the style and the frame of mind that you have players in, and that's what he's good at. He's a player coach.
Yeah, and Jack, just to let you know, the Cowboys and the Jets play next year at AT&T Stadium. Be there or be square. I'm gonna make sure that I work that game so you can come with me
Can he? Yeah, he needs to fly into Dallas.
Yeah.
Fly into Dallas.
I'm gonna have tickets waiting for him.
We're gonna know all of that. We're gonna take him to the Cowboy game, then we're gonna take him to the golf course.
Yep. Jack can't play golf.
Oh, I thought he could. Hey, he need to go to the Dallas Cowboys golf course.
There you go.
And guess what's gonna happen, Jim? He's gonna be riding around in the car. Just
number 77. Yep.
We're gonna have Jeffcoat cart for you too.
Yep, we're gonna be right around in my cart. So, but yeah, I think that Cincinnati will win. Now, big game for me. Dallas at Tampa Bay, Monday night.
Why is it big?
Because it's the Cowboys, and everybody in America is going to be looking at it. It'll get the highest ratings.
Hey, you know, the Cowboys and the Giants game had the highest rating during the regular season. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
That's because they had the highest rating because of the Giants.
What does Dak need to do to get on track? I really think Dak needs to get some contacts because he can't see.
Well,
the same pass.
Well, I know he's looking at where he's throwing. He needs to,
Yeah.
Tom Brady. He needs to do some Tom Brady. I mean, you got to look those DBs off. You really do.
Yeah, and Jason, you asked what he needs to get on track. He needs to have an effective running game. If they can't run the ball, they won't be. They lost to Atlanta last week, and everybody's saying that Tampa's not very good. But did you know that Mike Evans didn't play? And Vita Vea, who is bigger than anybody on the Cowboys, he's probably as big as the Cowboys bus. So,
yeah, and 2 years ago, Tampa won the Super Bowl. They just made it to the playoff. They just happen to be in the playoff. They ain't gonna win this game. Wow.
I think it's going to be because Dallas is 1-3 on grass surfaces. I think that's the end.
Ain't nobody going to be thinking about the grass when the ball snapped, Jim.
That's true, but the problem with Dallas, too, is everybody criticized Anthony Brown, the left corner. But now they're realizing how good he was because they got some serious issues over it. And I think Bland is pretty good. And I think he's going to be good.
So you're saying Mike Evans going to have a good game?
I think he is.
Yeah.
But I think the problem they have is this Calvin Joseph. Calvin Joseph was, a second-round pick.
Yeah.
And all he's been is a headache.
Yeah. And
I never know which Diggs is showing up. And that's the problem. I get scared because he bites on in Pro Football, Focus said it last year that he is a hit or miss player.
I thought he was a Pro Bowler.
He was a Pro Bowler because of all the interceptions. But did you see people doing devil moves on him?
Oh, yeah, because he bites. Yeah.
And that's the problem I'm scared of. I don't think Mike Evans, but who's going to be over the top when Mike Evans is bigger than anybody the Cowboys have? He's bigger than their safeties.
Gordon gonna be getting off. He can heck of a receiver as well.
Yeah, you're right. So I think it's gonna be the Cowboys are gonna have to play really well. I think they got to run the ball. I think Pollard and Elliott have to have a really good day. I think the Cowboys will win.
And I think that offensive coordinator better have some better plays. I tell you that because his play calling is suspect.
Yeah.
To me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that too. But I think if they can run the ball.
Well, I'll tell you this. If the game is close, Tampa gonna win it.
Yeah, with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if it's 24-23, two minutes left to go in the game, and Tom Brady got the ball, hang it up, Dallas.
Yeah. You better start. Yeah. So, that's the game. So we picked the guys going to win. Jason, I'm with you. I'm not a big Minnesota fan, but I think Minnesota will win this week. And then they'll take their trip to San Francisco, and the Cowboys would go to Philadelphia, which is interesting because they would play. This would be the third game that they played. They both won one. And also, this will be the first time if neither Dat doesn't get injured that Dat has played against Jalen Hurts.
First time?
Yeah, I think it's the first time. Well, no, it isn't, because Philadelphia didn't beat them last year. And I think Dat was active, so.
Yeah.
So it should be a good week of practice. I mean, a practice of games this weekend. Should be a good week.
There will be some upsets.
There will be some upsets, but it's not going to be the Cowboys, and it's not going to be the Giants. It might be the other games, but it's not going to be those two.
So what are you saying? You don't think the Giants got a chance to win?
They got a chance.
Oh, that's all I need to say. That's all I want to hear.
When they get off the bus, that's their chance.
Saquon gonna have like 150 yards.
No, they really do have a chance. I wouldn't be shocked.
They rested up.
Like,
they rested up
like
last
the
week.
Giants or the Jets or anything.
They rested up last week, and watch what happened. They're gonna surprise the Vikings.
On Facebook, somebody put up there for Jack the last time the Giants won a Super Bowl, and it was on a black and white TV. and they said, Jack, weren't you watching that game? Jack said, yeah, it was on black and white. I was watching it.
The last time the Giants won a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah. That's true. We're not talking about Super Bowl predictions this week because you don't want to go too early, Jason. It's bad karma.
Hey, I want you to think about this. Put your head to this thought. I'm going to say. The Minnesota Vikings won 7 or 8 games by less than 3 points.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is the Minnesota Vikings is really not a good team.
Wow. If you're winning and
they defense suck. They quarterback you sack him 2 times, he gonna throw some more interceptions.
He wears chains. He got the same chains you got.
Hey, Jack.
It was a day before remote control. Jack was up there holding the wire because I did it too to make sure he got good reception. Then he was looking to see the game.
Oh, you trying to say Jack was holding a clothes hanger?
Yeah.
He said no upsets this weekend.
I don't think there'll be any upsets.
It's gonna be some upsets, Jack. Watch what I tell you.
The Cowboys are a 3-point favorite in Tampa Bay.
They done went down to 2.5.
It is?
Yeah.
Ooh, that ain't good.
Yeah, it done went down a little bit.
Ooh, Jason, you see what he said? Hey.
Drop the mic. They could have easily been 8 and 9.
Ooh.
Now I said that.
Kirk Cousins is my type of quarterback. Kirk Cousins is a coach killer.
Well, you know what? The reason why Kirk Cousins is your kind of quarterback, because you know where he's going to be in the pocket, so you know where to go to sack him.
Actually, I like the mobile quarterbacks because they were easier to sack. Joe Montanas of the world, the Dan Marinos were hard to sack because they're released. You might have known where they're at, but they were hard to get to.
Yeah.
The mobile quarterbacks, they always moved around in the pocket, and you can get some good hits on them.
So the Cowboys play Monday night?
Yes, 7:15.
And the Giants play Sunday night?
Yeah, no, the Giants, let me look it up again. I had it up. The Giants play at 3:30 on Sunday.
3:30, okay.
So make sure you go to church and pray.
We're going to be running track in Minnesota. We're gonna run the school up on the dog. Their season gonna be over.
Ooh, Jason, y'all got a bet on this, don't you?
Yeah, he got to pay my golf course. He got to pay me on my golf course.
Yeah, but didn't y'all also have a bet last week?
No, we had no bet last week.
I thought y'all had a bet last week, didn't you, Jason?
Jason, I'm gonna beat his socks off on the golf course for sure. I went out there. I hit a couple of 300. I hit a couple of 300 some drives this week. This is my first time playing.
I'm just telling you, don't. Hey, Jason goes to Cowboy.
I don't care. Jason can go
for a month.
Golf. He can go to miniature golf. He can go to putt. I'm ready for Jason.
Jason's pretty good. Don't mess with Jason now.
What's his handicap?
It's probably about a 3.
Mine's a 5, so he probably can beat me. He might can beat me, but you know what? I'm gonna have my time out there because I'm gonna have my time.
But
we need this. We're gonna do a golf tournament this spring. So
okay,
we're gonna do a J&B golf classic.
Ooh, Byron, if the Vikes win, you wear Vikes gear on the show next week.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's a deal. That's a deal.
Ooh, I can't wait. Woo!
I have to go get my Vikings jerseys out the dirty clothes.
You're kidding? Yeah, Landon's a Vikings fan, isn't he?
Yeah, he got a little Viking helmet.
Yeah, I thought so. You have to wear the Vikings helmet.
He was on the Viking team. I told him he need to get traded.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Also, the Cowboys get Jonathan Hankin, who they got from the Raiders. He's back, and Vanderich is back. And
that's another thing that we didn't talk about. A lot of these teams will have rested players.
That's right.
Players that on IR, so their roster going to be so much improved. A lot.
Yeah, no question. So we didn't talk about that, but that's what their rosters are. But some of those players, and I know why they rested Mike Evans, is to make sure he was 100% for there. But like you said, Tom Brady's you're going to have to play good to beat.
Yeah, you got to play your best ball.
Yeah.
They
haven't played well, and they still they lost their center last week.
Yeah, yeah.
They lost their center.
Well, the one thing about the playoff, if you ain't fired up and ready to play, you don't need to go to the playoff. So every team should be ready to go.
Yeah. Last thing is the NFL Players Association, the players put out their all-pro team. Some interesting picks, but you can't argue with them. Roquan Smith and Fred Warner were the linebackers. The ends were Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa. I'll have to look at who the interior players, but Micah Parsons didn't make it.
He didn't make it.
No, he said he don't really care. He said he's trying to win a game. He's trying to get to the next round.
I think they should have different groups recognizing players because it's so many. It's a thin line anyway. So
yeah. Oh, here we go. Another peanut Galley.
Hey, that's a good prediction right there. I like that prediction.
Yeah, I'm glad you stick with that. And if you lose, if the Giants lose to Minnesota, you got to wear a Cowboys jersey. Oh, you got one behind you, so you can wear that one.
Ain't no more Cowboy gears out here. They have put them all in the trash can this week.
Oh, okay. All right. Cowboys will win. Cowboys will win.
Well, whatever. So, Jim, what about the college championship game? What you think about that?
Ooh, I don't want to talk about it. We only got a minute. It's going to take more than a minute to talk about that. Georgia was the team.
Yeah.
They proved it all year. Georgia played like championship team.
Absolutely. So, well, it was a good football season. Now we're going into the playoff, getting ready for Super Bowl. Super Bowl will be in Phoenix, Arizona this year.
Yep.
And
hopefully we'll be there. Both of us be there, and we'll be telecasting from.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about J&B Talking Shop.
Yeah, we'll be talking about J&B Talking Shop.
And one of the hottest coaches out there is Sean Payton.
Yeah, he's big time. And he's utilizing it too. I mean, every team that has an opening, 5 teams, and he's been requested to obviously talk about the position with all those coaches. But we're at an end, Byron. We got to go. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your input, Jack. Thank you, Jason. Mac, we're going to talk a little bit later because you're going to kind of made me mad, kind of coming and sneaking behind.
Right on. The Giants win, the Cowboys lose.
Okay. Let's remember that. All right, then.
All right, good night.